Our second example is going to work with the equation y equals 2x minus 6. Again, what we want to start off with is identifying that we have m equaling 2, and again, just remember that m is actually our slope. So we have a slope of 2, and our b value is 6. Again, that's referring to a point that we have that is at 0 and 6. So given y equals 2x plus 6, the slope is 2, and the point that's given to us in this equation is the point 0 and 6. So there's the first part of that question. The second part of the question, though, is very limited in its relationships, what we have to know from y equals 2x minus 6. Because we're supposed to talk about graphing a line that passes through negative 2 and 6. So let's just put a point here at negative 2 and 6. We're not talking about 0 and 6 from the top equation. We're talking about negative 2 and 6. And we want to talk about being perpendicular to y equals 2x plus 6. So if our given slope in that top line was m equals 2, what we need to remember is that perpendicular slopes, and perpendicular is just like an upside down T. Our perpendicular slope is a reciprocal of 2, so the reciprocals, and if the given slope is positive, that means our reciprocal slope has to be negative. So I'm supposed to be starting at negative 2 and 6, and now use that information to draw a line or plot some more points that tell me to go down 1 and go right 2 because I have a negative slope. So from my given point, a gain of negative 2 and 6, down 1 and right 2, down 1 and right 2, down 1 and right 2, or up 1, left 2, up 1, left 2. I can plot 2, 3, 4, 5 points, and then given that information, I can then draw a graph. So let's just take our line tool and let's draw a line then that is going to have a slope of negative 1/2 and is going to go through the point negative 2 and 6. So the next thing that we're supposed to do is find the equation of the line through negative 2, 6, and that is perpendicular to y equals 2x plus 6. So again, to find an equation, I need a point, negative 2 and 6. I need a point, x and y, and I'm going to use the slope that is perpendicular to the slope of 2. So I'm going to use a slope of negative 1/2. Whenever I want to find an equation, I have to work with those three things. Now it doesn't tell us what format we want to have our equation in. So let's start off with it being in the, let's go with general format. So I just start off with negative 1/2 being my slope, and that's equal to the rise, which is my y minus 6 value, over my run. And again, if I go x minus negative 2, I need to remember that whenever I subtract a negative, I'm really just going to be adding. When I go to change my equation to a new format, I'm going to cross multiply. So negative 1 is with x plus 2. That's supposed to be the left side of the equation. So I'll put an equal sign in the middle, and that equals 2 times y minus 6. So now I have negative x minus 2 equals 2y minus 12. If I want to change this to general format, I want to have a positive x value. So let's add x to both sides. Let's leave my negative 2 for a minute. The x comes first. The 2y in this question was positive 2y, so that's why it's x plus 2y. And then to simplify things one more step, let's add 2 to both sides. And my general equation, when I'm finished, is 0 equals x plus 2y minus 10. X plus 2y minus 10 is the equation of that line that we graphed that has a slope of negative 1/2 and goes through the point negative 2 and 6. why don't we take a minute as well to review how to change this back into y equals mx plus b format, because those are the two formats that we want to make sure we can work with. So if I want to solve this for y, the first thing I'm going to do is get the y's by themselves. So I'm going to subtract 2y from both sides. So then 2y, negative 2y, equals x minus 10. To get the y by itself, the opposite of multiplying is to divide. We don't divide one of the terms by negative 2. We divide all three of the terms by negative 2. And my equation, when I'm finished, if I want to solve for y, again, there's not a number that appears to be with the x, but we know it's a 1. So it's 1 divided by 2. The negative sign can be in front of the fraction. And the x again goes in the middle of the fraction as well. So x divided by negative 2 is the same thing as negative 1/2 x. Negative 10 divided by negative 2 is positive 5. So this is an equation of that line as well. So we have two formats, and it's important that we recognize that both of these formats are great answers. They just have different purposes. If you want to look for the slope as quick as possible, and this is the best way to do that. Y equals mx plus b, and your slope is negative 1/2. If you wanted to find the slope another way, you could go back to your general form, find 2 points, and then from those 2 points, we could find slope as well. Slope being rise over run. So there's 2 examples for us to work through or to look at and review as required.